I can't do a death drop. But for the purpose of this bit, imagine that I am. Come on, Pride Month, let's get sickening!
They changed it to drag queen.
Hello, my fellow yappers. Hello, we're back again. Please expect Drag Race references to be sprinkled all over this this video because it's Pride Month.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen.
So yes, as you see from the title, from the getup, from the opening, from all of it, and I just said it, we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. I've watched Drag Race for over 10 years now. I've been watching since season 4. My brother introduced me to it, actually. He introduced me to it when, I don't know how old I was in season 4. Too young to be watching Drag Race, but it doesn't matter. It was a bonding moment, and that's all that matters. My brother and I are currently watching season 10 of All Stars together, which is like so much fun. It's a really good fucking season. I'm just counting down the weeks until Bosco is back on my screen, because why can Bosco kind of get it? Not even kind of. Bosco can fully, like, I need Bosco. I need Bosco to like see me and be like, wow, like I'm in love with you. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And then we're like together for the rest of our lives. That's just how I envision my future at this point in time. That's just me. Today's yap sesh, we're going to be yapping about modern Drag Race. What's going on with her, how she's changed from old school Drag Race, and why I think the fans are kind of to blame. But before we move on, I'm gonna pause. I'm going to pull something up. Before this video, I made a TikTok because I've been watching Drag Race All Stars 10, like I said, and the most recent episode at the time of filming this was the one where Denali and Ginger Minj lip sync. Pause. Assume there's spoilers. I watched the Denali and Ginger Minj episode where Denali and Ginger Minj lip sync to See You Again by Miley Cyrus, which I love that song, and now it's kind of ruined for me because there's so much like discourse about it online. I made a TikTok because the whole discourse online has been like, oh, it's so much Ginger Minj favoritism, it's so much this, that, and the third. Let me just put the TikTok in. Hot take, Denali did not win that lip sync. She was doing too much. Before I saw any public discourse online, I knew Miss Denali was doing too much. Every single beat did not need to be hit. She was doing too much. It wasn't that Ginger won the lip sync. It was that Denali lost it. It was too much. Denali has put out amazing fucking performances before, and she didn't hit every single damn beat to win the performance, to win the lip sync. I don't know. Denali, Ginger won by default. Not because she was better than Denali, but because Denali was just not good. Like, it was just too much. Every single thing had a thing. Like, it was like, yo, she's doing too much. I made that TikTok, and y'all, I went to sleep. A couple hours later, I woke up, and I was like, my thing had like 1,000 comments. Dragged it. How much does it have now? Hold on. It has 282 comments and 395 likes. It's just like, and more people agree with me than not. And there's a lot of people agreeing with me in the comments. But still, oh my god. And I'm gonna say it in this video, I stand on it. I stand by my take. I do not give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Actually, I don't give a
Then from when I watched the lip sync, I was like, hold on. I was like, Miss Thing is hitting every single beat that there is. It's just too much. It's just too much. Anyway, just myself a little shameless plug. A little shameless plug on my TikTok. It's YRB Yapping, just like here on YouTube, okay? I blew up, guys. Basically, I'm famous. This is the moral of that story. But back on topic, we're going to talk about today why fans and producers, have kind of ruined the Drag Race experience. Let's yap about it. Have you watched the show, Tamar? It's okay if you haven't, because I'm just gonna explain to you what RuPaul's Drag Race is if you don't know. RuPaul's Drag Race is basically a drag reality competition show where a bunch of queens just come on every season to compete and become America's Next Drag Superstar. It's filled with drama, it's filled with amazing looks, gag-worthy moments, twists, turns, shablams, you know? And obviously, it's a gay show. Pride Month, doing it all for, it's a gay ass show. I'm a gay ass bitch, I'm Joey J. I'm gonna read this to you guys. I'm gonna read it to you so you guys can know what we're dealing with here. There's 17 main seasons, 10 all-star seasons, and a whole bunch of international seasons like UK, Canada, Thailand, Australia, Mexico, Brazil. And there's a global all-star season. And of course, who can forget Drag U? There's a lot in this franchise. There's a lot to follow. And my friend recently got into Drag Race and she's like, I want to get into Drag Race. I'm like, well, you came to the right person. But as I said, I did start watching Drag Race at season 4. Was I too young to understand everything that was going on? Yes. Did I still enjoy it? Absolutely. Me personally, I just was in it for the runways. I was like, love it. I loved it. I didn't understand the concept of drag. Like, I didn't understand that boy RuPaul and drag RuPaul were like different people. I literally were just like, oh, okay. And then I just like, that was like the separate part. That was like the nighttime part of the show or of the episode for me, was when she came out and drag like, cover girl, put the bass in your walk. But I truly do love Drag Race as a franchise. I have loved it for a long time, and it's become a source of bonding for my brother and I. So it just really holds a special place in my heart, okay? But enough with all this happy stuff. I like to call myself a Drag Race veteran. And while I didn't kill Judy Garland, I did notice after a long time of watching, the queens were just different. And not just the queens they would bring on the show, just the way the queens would act while they're on the show. And I gotta admit, after season 12, I noticed that the seasons were just different for me. I didn't really vibe with the seasons all that much. I didn't keep up with them. And of course there were like personal reasons for those things, but also it was just not, it just didn't have the same charm for me, and I couldn't really pinpoint it. And so while I was doing research for this video, I went to the most trusted source on the internet, Reddit, and I looked it up, and a lot of people agreed with me. A lot of people were like, the queens are just different. They're a lot more in their heads. They're a lot more conscious that they're on TV. And we'll get into that all in a second, but I want to talk about what we're even talking about in terms of change. In the earlier seasons, okay, the queens were unfiltered. They were raw. I fucking love this clip from season 2's Untucked, where Tatiana's like, you guys think I'm shit. And Raven's like, I would never say that. And then cuts to a whole compilation, not even a compilation, Raven said this all in one sitting, of her saying that she thinks that everything that Tatiana does is shit. Cut the tape.
All of you guys think that I'm like shit, that I'm like nothing.
I would never say that. Her interview was shit. Her look was shit. Her book cover was shit. Her trying to launch and sell her book to the judges was shit. She's shit. I would never say that.
We also had Fifi OHara fighting with Willem and sharing needles in almost every episode of Untucked and the main show. Love that. Well, did I love that? I was mad at Fifi. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's drama. It's reality TV. What am I gonna do? Not enjoy it? I mean, that's why I love Love Island season 7 so much. Oh, more on that later. Is it more on that later? I think I might be lying. I don't care. Anyway,
recorded this way before episode 26 came out, so this is an outdated ass take. I just want Amaya Papaya to get the 100K. Moving on. Thank you.
we would have Roxy Andrews crashing out over Jinx Monsoon doing that well in the competition that she would just like literally be like, so Jinx Monsoon would be like, what's your favorite part of the competition so far? And Roxy would be like, when you were in the bottom too. Like that was real shit. It wasn't pretty, but it was real shit. Now we have a queen who steals another queen's jokes from in a comedy challenge, and no one's fighting. These were emotions from real people. This is stuff that you would see on the street, stuff that you would see in your friend groups. This is real stuff. People were competitive, people were mean, people were shady, people were like all of these things. And it feels like now it's kind of gotten, Drag Race has kind of gotten scrubbed clean of what made Drag Race Drag Race. Back to Reddit, I noticed that there are two main groups that people really blame for like the downfall or like the change of Drag Race. I don't think Drag Race has gone down. I think it's just changed in a different direction, but we'll get more on that later. There are two main people or groups of people that the fans of Drag Race blame, which are the producers and the fans. So in terms of the producers, you can definitely tell that they are following a formula, so much so that I'm convinced I can write a Drag Race episode off the dome. Let's do regular season. They walk in, do their entrance line, I'm that bitch and don't you forget it. Hi, my name is Yari. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm 23 years old, and I am the cuntiest bitch of Brooklyn. I like to think my drag, I can do this all day. Don't play with me. I can do this all day. But my biggest issue with the formula is not only is it like when you make a formula of something, it's automatically like not as authentic. You're not going off of what the queens are giving you. You're actually just going off what you want them to follow. But my biggest issue with this formula are the mirror talks. My God, y'all, I don't know when it is that I notice that I'm constantly being trauma dumped on Drag Race, but it's every episode down to episode 1. Back in the day, it would be a couple of queens. It would be a couple episodes and queens that were there for longer being like, you know, this challenge is really hard for me. It reminds me, you know, I have a lot of reservations with trying to dance because I was never allowed to dance when I was a kid, despite wanting to do it so bad because I was gay and it wasn't accepted and it was really hard for me. Huh, yeah. In season 5, when they were doing a crying mini challenge where they had to just like make each other cry or pretend to cry. Detox was genuinely crying because she had lost somebody in her life, and obviously she won the mini challenge. You can't, like, you know, that'd be like fucked up. But anyway, she had been crying because she genuinely lost someone in her life, and that happened organically. You're doing a crying challenge, you cry because, you know, she revealed, oh, it's because someone in my life died. Now, episode 1, one of the queens on season 17 of Drag Race, episode 1, revealed that she used to have a tumor and that this challenge that involves dancing, or it might not have been episode 1. I think it was, but just take it with a grain of salt. It might not have been episode 1, but it was still early in the season, that she had a tumor in her back. And that was really hard for her. And, like, you know, she wasn't able to dance for a long time. Pause. I'm not discrediting because it was Jewel Sparkles. I'm not discrediting Jewel Sparkles' story. I'm not invalidating it. Yeah, invalidating it. I'm not doing... Please hear me. But honestly, these stories that we would hear from... Because this is a huge platform, okay? These stories we would hear from these queens would be, like, about being gay. About literally being gay in America, how difficult that is because it's not a safe space for gay people. And these used to be like, oh, my parents wouldn't accept me, I got kicked out, I had to join a gang, I had to do because I was gay. When did it go from problems that are happening to gay people because they're gay to now it's just problems that happen to be happening to gay people? I'm so sorry. Like, I understand this is bringing back memories or bringing back moments like, oh, I couldn't dance because I had a tumor, and I'm genuinely so sorry. But on the other hand, this girl could go home tonight. There's no way of guaranteeing that that this girl is not gonna go home, that this queen is not gonna go home this one episode, and she's ended up revealing to millions of people that this traumatic thing happened to her. At what cost? You could go home tonight. You can tell every time the queens are getting ready in front of the mirror before they go on the runway, formulaically, everybody has a sad story to tell. And it's gotten to the point where it's not even about being gay anymore. If you have something sad to say, you gotta say it. The producers are gonna tell you. They literally told Kelly Mantle to say to Vivacious, hey, ask Vivacious what it's like to grow up in Jamaica. I think it was Jamaica. Grow up in Jamaica being gay. And Kelly's like, oh, I'm getting ready. I'll insert the clip of her mentioning it.
The producer's like, ask Vivacious what her childhood was like growing up in Jamaica. And I'm all like, I don't have time. I'm trying to put my makeup on.
Right.
And they're like, no, you have to. And I'm like, Vivacious, what was your childhood like in Jamaica? And she's like, oh, mama, it was terrible. They tried to drown me in the ocean. I'm like, oh my God, that's so awful. You know?
The producers actively encourage for you to trauma dump in these mirror talks, and where like, everyone's around the mirror, because they must have seen the success when they were talking about eating disorders in season 9, and even then season 9 is getting a little bit later. I'm talking, when I say like old school Drag Race, I mean 6 and behind, because 7, I don't remember much about 7, to be honest. 8, not my favorite season. 9 I love. 9 was great. But even then, in season 9, when I rewatched it recently, I noticed it wasn't as like trauma dumpy, but it was still pretty trauma dumpy. And it's just like, oh my gosh. Like, cause the conversation about eating disorders, that's important to have, because eating disorders are always thought about of such a woman problem, like only women have it. But like for gay men to speak out on TV and on such a big platform that Drag Race is, it's very important. But how do we get, and mind you, after the Jewel Sparkle's tumor was revealed, literally we move on to somebody talking about how they got shot. Episode 1. You're encouraging these queens to come on this show, talk about things that happened to them that were very traumatic, for an Emmy? Is that what we're doing this for? Is it for an Emmy? That's not right. Like, at all. And like I said, I don't want to invalidate or shit on anyone's story, because at the end of the day, it still takes courage to tell your story out there, especially something like a tumor or getting shot or anything that's like really traumatic. But I have to admit, there gets to a point where you become desensitized when every single episode there's multiple moments of people telling these tragic stories, and you're just like, it gets to a point where it's just, oh, it's too much. It's tiring. Now when you're in a sea of traumatic stories, like it sounds so fucked up, but I really hope my message isn't lost here. It's not the stories themselves, it's the sheer quantity of them. God. And so this whole trauma dumping thing of like trying to make the fans fall in love with the queens, it kind of sort of ties into this whole narrative that a lot of people are also talking about online, which is the producers, you can tell they started to aim to please the fans instead of just keeping the essence of drag and Drag Race within itself. Someone on Reddit put it perfectly, so I'm going to be reading that to you now. The audience changed. In the early seasons of Logo, the audience was full of queer people who would purchase access to the channel and were reveling in the fact that there were shows just for us. Lots of people in the audience had been going to drag shows for years before RuPaul's Drag Race came out. We had certain expectations. We wanted to see the drag we knew on TV, and we loved in-jokes and references. The younger audience was drawn by fashion, makeup, splits, stunts, and reality TV style drama, as opposed to I'm going to kick your ass drama. More on this later. When you have a loud, venomous, abusive audience that you know likes certain things, you give them those things. And the generation gap makes that harder. The show has gone so far trying to cater to the audience that it did get away from the spirit of drag. By definition, drag is performance. And now we have queens who don't perform. But we also have an audience claiming that the shows put too much emphasis on comedy and lip syncs, and says things like the show puts too much emphasis on performance. Now, to be honest, I don't know what the fans want. I try to kind of stray away from engaging in online discourse of a show when I'm watching it, except for Love Island, that's different. But because genuinely, it just, a lot of people seem to like be so negative online, and I feel like negativity gets a lot of clicks and views because people are engaging with it because they're like trying to argue back. And so that's more negativity stuff on my feed that I just don't want to engage with. But that being said, I can tell you one thing, a lot of Drag Race fans are toxic. Even back in the day, Fifi OHara got loads of hate for how she was on the show, always yelling at Willem, always yelling at Sharon Needles. And then Roxy Andrews got a lot of hate for shitting on Jinx Monsoon. They both mentioned it when they first came in back for All Stars 2. Hate from a reality show is bound to happen. Like, it's going to happen. There are going to be people who send hate, which is, I think, so pointless. I think sending hate is legitimately so pointless. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any dollars, and it doesn't make any sense. So like I said, fans have always been kind of ruthless in sending hate, but it's gotten especially bad to the point where you can tell that the queens are like aware of how bad the hate can get. And let's pause here. The Drag Race fans are also incredibly racist. I noticed that in season 16, Plain Jane prided herself on being like shady and being like, you know, she was kind of mean a lot of the time. And my thing was like, yay, love you, Plain, but like this is not really Plain's fault per se. But if a black queen were to pride herself on being shady and keeping it real, it would automatically be a completely different story. Britta from season 12, so much hate, like so much hate to the point where it was like genuinely so terrible. Like, because she was yelling at Aiden Zane. The fans have made it that if you act human, if you are yelling at another queen or arguing with another queen and you're just being like, you're trying to, if you do anything along those lines, then you will get ripped to shreds online, especially if you're a black queen. And now I hear people online complaining that I want the queens to fight more. Everyone's too nice. And who set the system up? Who? Mimi I'm First. Mimi I'm First is complaining that the queens aren't being real enough. I could not believe it. Because these are the same people that are actively shredding these queens. And the thing is, like, in the gay community, in, like, when I say gay, LGBTQ plus, I mean it all. It's very, like, shade is a very, like, natural occurrence, if you will. It's very natural to be like throwing shade at each other. You guys, you know, I'm like, oh my god, make me clutch my pearl. Like, it's shade is shade. Shade. Do you know what shade is? In the great tradition of Paris is burning? No? Okay. Let's see if the library is open. In the great tradition of Paris is burning, the library is open. We're gonna explain what shade is. We're gonna explain what throwing shade is, at least to me. And then we're gonna look at, I looked online as well, guys. I do research. I'm like a proper YouTuber. Okay? So, throwing shade, the way I understand it, is like, it's like an insult, but it's like presented in a funny way. Perfect example.
Do you think that I'm going to take fashion advice from a drag queen?
Well, honey, it's my sister. You better take, listen, Joy, you better take it from somebody.
It's like a clever way of throwing an insult at somebody. But a lot of that shade in the LGBTQ plus community, it's encouraged. It's like, you know, it's a fun banter and it's a fun way to kind of bond. But the library is closed officially, okay? We know what shade is now. I hope. That's what I understand shade to be. Shade is essentially just like talking shit, but it's like filled with love in a sense. I don't know. I feel like I throw shade with my friends. I feel like I sound like such a boomer. Like, so in the community, throwing shade and being like a little mean and being a little sneaky, not sneaky, but like jabby, it's like it's a normal occurrence. It's nothing like, oh my god, you guys are so mean to each other. Like, don't do that shit, you know what I mean? It's very like encourage, like, it's just a way of bonding. It's a way of conversation and banter. Now, my whole thing, this is something that existed, and you can see it in the documentary Paris is Burning, shade. That's why they say it on Drag Race in the great edition of Paris is Burning, when you're reading each other. Do we need to go and look at what reading is? Do we need that? I don't think we do. And it would happen on the show. It would, like, I don't know. And even then, when Fifi OHara was being like mean to Sharon Needles, it's like, it's a very human, raw, normal emotion to have, especially in like a pressure cooker that is Drag Race, and like you want to prove yourself. This is like the platform for drag. There's not a lot of other platforms out there for drag. They're starting to grow, but back then, season 4, like well over 10 years ago, that, you know what I mean? Like, this is a human emotion. This is human moments. The queens would kind of like, this is just how things would get. These queens, these drag queens, who, yes, are big personalities, and this is that and the third, are still gay people in America. And I hate to break it to you, babe, if you grow up oppressed, you're not gonna be this perfect, like, I'm going to handle all of my situations so cleanly, so properly. No, you're gonna get mad, you're gonna get upset, you're gonna get messy. And the thing is, it's like people aren't ready. They're not ready for that kind of messy drama. That comment from earlier of like, oh, they want reality TV drama, they don't want this kind of drama. This is what we mean. It's like, this is too real for you, apparently. This is like Fifi OHara's crash out over go back to Party City where you belong, like, that type of thing. And like all of these problems that these queens have, these reactions that they have, it's like human and real. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm not trying to say that all drag queens are gonna be like super explosive and reactive and like all like, or like how Fifi OHara was acting. I'm just saying that there's just no nuance applied to the situation, because Fifi OHara was in a pressure cooker and she has grown up with the difficulties of being a gay man. And like, that's gonna call for like some reactions that maybe are overreactions. She got jealous of Sharon Needles because I think she saw, from what I understand of the situation, she saw Sharon Needles doing so well in this drag competition when her aesthetic was drastically different from Fifi's. Fifi was a very pageant girl, and obviously Sharon Needles was like more not gothy, but like more like horror based, I like to think. I like to describe it as that anyway. And she sees that and she gets upset. She's like, she wants to be the one winning, and she doesn't like her aesthetic at the time. Of course, people change, whatever. And you know, we don't really like Sharon Needles. She's like a racist, crazy. Anyway, but all of that to say, all that to say, now the fans are like, the queens aren't real enough. The queens are, it's so boring. Everyone's like trying to be kumbaya, kumbaya, kumbaya. And it is extremely frustrating because it's like, you guys basically asked for this from the way you were behaving when the queens weren't kumbaya. And the TV drama that they're gonna get now is gonna be digestible TV drama for the people watching this show. And I hate to say it, but now Drag Race is now being passed through a straight filter. I know, I'm so not sorry. I fully believe that this is now being made to be a safe space for straight people as well to consume queer media in a digestible little baby bird moment. Chew it up for them so they can eat it easier. This show is now a safe space for straight people to consume queer media and feeling safe to do so. Now your best secret Rebecca can watch Drag Race and feel like she's one of the queens. But what Rebecca doesn't understand, and a lot of Rebeccas out there don't understand, and sorry to anybody named Rebecca, it's just a random name I came up with. Anyone's little Rebeccas don't understand is that drag is not Drag Race, at least not anymore. Drag is presented on Drag Race, but that is not all of what drag is. It is not these elaborate, huge looks that you see on Drag Race. It is not just that, because that's still, the drag on Drag Race is real, but it's not all of what drag is. If you really want to see what drag is, if you really want to interact with drag, if you want to indulge yourself into the world of drag, go to your local drag bar and go watch a queen, because not every single queen is going to shablam split into space and then fall in there, do a little death drop. No one's going to do that. Not everyone's going to do that, but that's still drag. And the thing is, we have let Drag Race define, or a lot of straight people that watch the show, a lot of people that watch the show and just indulge and just participate with drag through Drag Race like to say, oh, this is what drag should be, this is what drag should be. This is now a space where every single look counts. People are going to put money, so much money, into going on Drag Race and their package for Drag Race, and it's simply not the same anymore. If a queen on season 18 walked in with India Farah / Phoenix's look from season 2, prison, honey. Like, they would hate it. They would say, oh, it's too pedestrian, because now the drag that is expected on Drag Race is not, it's not the same. A lot of drag queens are going to look a little bit more pedestrian, and a lot of drag queens are going to look super extravagant, and they're not on Drag Race. Drag is so vastly different. It's all on such a big scale. It's all such a wide spectrum that we cannot limit ourselves. As big and wide and amazing as Drag Race is, and as influential as it is, we cannot let it influence our opinion on what drag as a concept and as an idea is. Because even for a long time, Drag Race didn't understand all types of drag. Sasha Velour winning season 9 was revolutionary, and Jinx Monsoon winning was revolutionary, because glamour, looking feminine, that sounds like such a read. I'm not trying to say that, but like, it was like being this super feminine, like, female passing drag queen. Like, you had to, you know, that's what it was, that was praised. Tyra came in on season 2 and like, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous, she's so gorgeous, she's so gorgeous, and it would be about female impersonation. But we have Jinx Monsoon, who's a little bit more on the comedy side with her drag, and it's not as glamour. They would like push glamour on her so badly, like, we want to see glamour from you, we want to see glamour from you. Like, season 9 was Sasha Velour, a queen who, one of her signature looks is being bald. Like, that was revolutionary. Sharon Needles was revolutionary at the time, because it's always been about female impersonation, and now you have suddenly this person who came out episode 1, blood coming out of her mouth. Like, I'm telling you, Drag Race didn't even know all of the aspects of drag for a long time. And a lot of aspects of drag are still not encouraged. They're still not as accepted. So why are we going to let them define what drag is? It is a platform for drag, a very specific kind of drag. It's a lot of like, they have what they want to see in a drag queen, and they'll cast those queens. But there's a lot of queens you don't see that do drag a little differently. There's never been a bearded queen on the show, but there are still bearded queens out there that are, every drag queen is valid. Every form of drag is valid. All I'm trying to say is that Drag Race is being passed through a straight filter now that makes it easier for straight people to watch, and I understand why, but it doesn't mean that I don't see, like, I understand why they would do that, but it still bothers me because it's like, it was a safe space for a lot of queer people to kind of have like this, it's the same like kind of energy and interactions you would see in your everyday in your queer group of friends, but now it's kind of like this formulaic formula.
I have the mind of a I have the mind of a mastermind. What's that?
It's catered to a wider audience now, and it makes sense because, you know, Drag Race got so big, you needed a bigger network, and now more people are watching, so you just kind of have to make it easier for everyone to indulge with if you really want to capitalize off of the success. I get it. I still really enjoy Drag Race. I really do. I love Drag Race so much. I've kind of fallen back in love with it, not only because the season 16 was really good and All Stars 10 has been really good, but my friend wanting to get back into it, I started rewatching with her and I was like, oh my god, I love this show so much. I genuinely, I love it so much, and it has changed as many things do over time, but it still cannot be understated the impact that Drag Race has had. The fact that it is as popular and it's hosted by a black gay man in America, especially in this America, Miss Thing. Come on, like it's very revolutionary, and that's never good. Like that's, you can never take that away from Drag Race. Like it's truly amazing that we get to have a show about drag queens be as popular as it is, and that's something that means like a lot to me. I am part of the LGBTQ plus community. I don't have a label for you guys because I don't have a label for myself, but that's neither here nor there. But my brother is gay. Like, it's very much like, you know, very important. You know, we don't gotta get with the sappy stuff. But that being said, it's still changed, and I think the fact that it's changed for a straight audience just shows that we still have a long way to go in terms of, you know, queer media in mainstream. Like, it has, there's gonna be a point one day, there's gonna be a point in time where we don't have to filter anything for straight people or the majority, because really people are just minoritized. We're not really minorities, you know. I love Drag Race, as I said. And that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope I made sense. I was just trying to say that the fans were too ruthless on the queens for just really being themselves, and the producers just became too formulaic, and it just became, that's what I'm just trying to say with the fact that Drag Race has changed. But nail check, the nails go so well with the fit today. These are also my birthday nails. My birthday was June 9th. I'm recording this June 25th. So you guys, it's been a while for me. Sorry this video took so long to come out, simply because, you know, I was actually working this month. I had a temp job. So it was a little hard to like find time to record, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you, my yappers, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I love Drag Race so much, so to be able to yap about it for like, what, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes was a lot of fun. I liked getting ready for this video. This is my second attempt at recording this video because the first time my camera wasn't charging when I was trying to charge it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride. I'm going to the Pride Parade. I'm super excited. But I will see you on the next video. I feel like there's like an exit that I should say, like an exit line. Jump in a car. Bye. Oh my god, I just kicked the shit out of my camera. Oh my god. Are you guys okay? I hope you guys are. Oh my god. Anyway.